The biology and the anatomy of the pufferfish. Beneath the shimmering surface of our oceans, a master of transformation lurks. The pufferfish, with its ability to balloon to triple in size in seconds, represents one of nature's most spectacular defensive mechanisms. Ancient Japanese fishermen told tales of these creatures being possessed by sea spirits, able to shapeshift when threatened. But the truth behind this remarkable animal is even more fascinating than folklore suggests. These living balloons carry enough poison to kill 30 adult humans in a single fish, making them among the deadliest creatures in our oceans. Yet paradoxically, in Japanese cuisine, the flesh of certain pufferfish species is considered a delicacy, so exquisite that chefs train for years just to prepare it safely. As we dive deeper into the world of the pufferfish, we'll discover an animal whose biology challenges our understandings of what's possible in nature, whose defensive strategies make our human innovations seem primitive by comparison, and whose very existence tells a story of evolutionary ingenuity that has allowed it to thrive for millions of years in our planet's most competitive environments. Family and species classification. The pufferfish belongs to the family Tetrodotoxin, a name derived from Greek meaning four-tooth, referring to their distinctive four large teeth fused into the upper and lower plate. This adaptation forms a beak-like structure perfect for crushing hard-shell prey. There are roughly 200 species of pufferfish spread across 29 genera, making them far more diverse than their relatives, the porcupine fish family, with only 17 species. Unlike the streamlined silhouette of tuna or the flat profile of flounder, pufferfish generally have rounded bodies with bright patterns and markings. These patterns serve as a warning signals to potential predators, a phenomenon called aposematism that's also seen in poison dart frogs and monarch butterflies. This evolutionary strategy signals danger to would-be attackers before they can make a potentially fatal mistake. Taxonomically, pufferfish share the order Tetrodontiformes with other unusual fish like ocean sunfish, which can weigh as much as a small car, and the tigerfish, known for their aggressive territorial behavior. While a great white shark might be recognized by its size and teeth, and an octopus by its tentacles, the pufferfish claim to fame as its unique defense mechanism and toxicity. Most pufferfish inhabit marine environments, though some species have adapted to brackish or even freshwater habitats. The brackish water species show remarkable adaptability compared to the rigid environment requirements of coral-dwelling fish like clownfish or deep-sea anglefish that can only survive under extreme pressure. This adaptability has allowed pufferfish to colonize diverse aquatic environments, tropical, temperate regions worldwide. Evolutionary lineage. The pufferfish lineage dates back approximately 50 million years to the Eocene epoch, making them relative newcomers compared to sharks, which have patrolled our oceans for over 400 million years. Fossil records of ancient pufferfish show they already possessed their signature inflating defense mechanism early in their evolutionary history, though their ancestors likely had more traditional body shapes like modern wrasse or parrotfish. What drives the evolution of such peculiar creatures? The answer lies in predator-prey relationships that shape marine ecosystems. While turtles developed hard shells and dolphins evolved intelligence and speed, pufferfish took a different path. They sacrificed speed for a remarkable defense mechanism that would deter all but the most determined predators. This evolutionary trade-off mirrors how porcupines on land gave up speed for protective quills. Scientists believe the pufferfish's toxicity evolved gradually as a secondary defense mechanism. Initially, the inflation ability alone offered protection, but those individuals that happen to be distasteful or mildly toxic gain additional survival advantages. Over millions of years, this toxicity intensified through natural selection. The same evolutionary principles that gave venomous snakes their fangs and scorpions their stingers work to make pufferfish among the most poisonous vertebrates on Earth. Genetic studies reveal that pufferfish have undergone remarkable genomic changes. They have the smallest genome of any vertebrate animal, about 8 times smaller than a human genome. This genomic compactness has made them popular subjects for genetic research, similar to how fruit flies have become model organisms for studying genetics. Their genetic streamlining eliminated many redundant elements found in other vertebrate genomes, yet they function perfectly with this minimal genetic blueprint. Genetics and genetic relationships. The pufferfish genome contains roughly 340 million base pairs of DNA, dramatically less than the 3 billion in humans. This genetic minimalism doesn't indicate simplicity but rather extraordinary efficiency. While humans carry substantial junk DNA with no known function, pufferfish have streamlined their genetic code by eliminating most non-functional sequences. Remarkably, they maintain nearly the same number of functional genes as humans, despite the reduction. The genetics behind Tetrodotoxin, the pufferfish's deadly poison, represents one of nature's most fascinating evolutionary puzzles. Unlike venomous creatures like cobras that produce their toxins, pufferfish don't make tetrodotoxin themselves. They acquire it through their diet and symbiotic bacteria that produce the toxin, which they then store in their skin and organs. This relationship mirrors how certain sea slugs can incorporate the stinging cells from consumed jellyfish into their own bodies for defense. Genetic sequencing shows pufferfish are closely related to tigerfish and filefish, but with significant differences. For instance, the boxfish, another relative, develop a rigid exterior box-like structure for protection instead of the inflation strategy. This divergence demonstrates how evolution can produce radically different solutions to the same problem of avoiding predation. Similar to how turtles have developed shells while armadillos evolved armor plates despite facing similar survival challenges. Scientists have discovered that genes controlling pufferfish's unique spiky appearance when inflated share surprisingly similarities with genes involved in human skin development. The molecule pathways that determine the placement of these spines employ similar development signals to those that regulate hair follicle positioning in mammals. This unexpected connection demonstrates how evolution often repurposes existing genetic tools rather than inventing entirely new mechanisms. Much like how bird wings and human arms developed from the same basic limb structure in distant ancestors. Anatomy and physical properties. The pufferfish's most famous feature, its ability to rapidly inflate, comes from a specialized stomach that can expand to 3 times its normal size with water or air. Unlike a balloon that stretches evenly, the pufferfish stomach has pleated sections that unfold during inflation, similar to how an accordion expands. This inflation mechanism contrasts sharply with those of the closely related swell shark, which gulps water but can achieve nearly the same degree of expansion. Beneath the pufferfish's skin lie numerous small spines that become erect when the fish inflates, transforming it into a spiky, unpalatable mouth for predators. These spines differ fundamentally from venomous spines of lionfish or stonefish, which actively inject toxins. The pufferfish's spines are purely mechanical deterrents, more comparable to a hedgehog's defense quills than to the stinging mechanisms of jellyfish or sea urchins. The pufferfish's skeleton reveals another surprising adaptation. Many species have lost several major bones over the course of evolution. Their ribs are reduced or absent, allowing their bodies to expand without internal resistance. This skeletal reduction represents a dramatic departure from the typical fish skeleton structure seen in species like bass or salmon, where a full rib cage protects vital organs. Humans have 33 vertebrae in our spine, while pufferfish typically have fewer than 20. Demonstrating how evolution can streamline body plans with certain features become unnecessary. Perhaps most remarkable is the pufferfish's neurotoxin, Tetrodotoxin, which is primarily concentrated in the liver, ovaries, and skin. This toxin is roughly 1,200 times more deadly than cyanide, with one pufferfish carrying enough to kill up to 30 adult humans. Unlike snake venom, which targets blood or nerve functions through protein-based toxins, Tetrodotoxin blocks sodium channels in nerve cell membranes, preventing signals from transmitting between neurons. This same mechanism is used in certain human anesthetic compounds, though at drastically lower concentrations. Interestingly, pufferfish themselves have evolved mutations in the same sodium channels, rendering them immune to their own poison. Feeding and predators. The pufferfish's formidable dental structure, 4 fused teeth forming a beak-like apparatus, allows it to crush the hardest shells of crustaceans and mollusks with ease. This specialized feeding equipment generates bite force that, relatively to body size, exceeds that of hyenas crushing bones or macaws cracking Brazil nuts. While parrotfish have similar beaks to scrape algae from coral, pufferfish employs theirs as crushing tools, demonstrating how similar structures can be adapted for different feeding strategies. Despite their toxic differences, several predators have evolved strategies to safely consume pufferfish. Tiger sharks can eat them whole without ill effects due to specialized liver enzymes that neutralize tetrodotoxin, similar to how mongoose have evolved immunity to cobra venom. Sea snakes, themselves venomous, also prey on certain pufferfish species with apparent immunity. This evolutionary arms race mirrors the relationship between poison dart frogs and certain snake species that have evolved resistance to their toxins. The pufferfish's diet primarily consists of invertebrates like crabs, clams, sea urchins, and various shellfish. Their feeding habitats help control populations of these creatures, playing a role similar to that of sea otters in kelp forest ecosystems. Without such predators, certain invertebrates would proliferate unchecked, potentially disrupting the delicate balance of marine communities. This ecological role demonstrates how highly specialized creatures fill important niches. Remarkably, some pufferfish species display tool-using behavior when feeding. Certain species have been observed blowing jets of water to uncover buried shellfish or flip over sea urchins to access their vulnerable undersides. This behavior demonstrates problem-solving abilities comparable to those seen in octopus or certain bird species. Humans often think of tool use as uniquely advanced behavior, but such observations remind us that intelligence and adaptability appear throughout the animal kingdom in various forms, often evolving independently in response to similar environmental challenges. Reproduction and lifespan. Pufferfish reproduction involves elaborate courtship rituals that rival the famous dance of birds of paradise. Male pufferfish of certain species create intricate circular patterns in the sand using only their fins, working tirelessly for days to produce these underwater crop circles spanning up to 7 feet in diameter. These geometric designs, adorned with shell fragments and other decoratives, serve to attract females and provide spawning sites, unlike the bowerbirds that collect colorful objects or peacocks that display elaborate feathers. Pufferfish create temporary art from the seafloor itself. Female pufferfish carry pterodotoxin in their ovaries at concentrations far higher than any other body parts, making their eggs among the most toxic substances in the ocean. This extreme chemical protection ensures their offspring survive the vulnerable early development stages when they cannot inflate or flee. Compare this to how monarch butterflies incorporate toxins from milkweeds into their eggs, or how certain frog species deposit alkaloid in their egg jelly to deter predators. The human equivalent would be if a pregnant woman could somehow concentrate capsaicin from hot peppers in their wombs to chemically protect their developing fetuses. Most pufferfish species abandon their eggs after fertilization, leaving thousands of offspring to develop without parental care. The mortality rate is staggering, with perhaps only 1 in 1,000 surviving adulthood. This reproductive strategy contrasts sharply with that of sharks like the lemon shark, which may produce only 10 to 15 pups but invest in live birth, or seahorses where mammals carry developing embryos in specialized pouches. The pufferfish strategy resembles more closely to the approach of sea turtles, which lay numerous eggs on beaches before returning to the ocean. The average lifespan of a pufferfish ranges from 5 to 15 years depending on the species, considerably shorter than many other reef fish like the parrotfish or grouper that may live several decades. This life cycle involves rapid growth during the first year, sexual maturity by year 2 or 3, followed by several reproductive seasons. This relatively fast life history puts them midway between the brief lives of anchovies or silverside fish that only live 1 to 2 years and the remarkable longevity of a rockfish, some species of which can live over a century. Or even more impressive, Greenland shark with its 400-year lifespan. Toxicity mechanisms. The pufferfish's deadly neurotoxin represents one of nature's most extraordinary biochemical achievements, with pterodotoxin being roughly 1,200 times more potent than cyanide and among the most powerful non-protein poisons known to science. Unlike venomous creatures that produce their own toxins through specialized glands, Pufferfish acquire their poison through their diet and symbiotic bacteria, storing it in organs like their liver, skin, and ovaries without harm to themselves thanks to mutations in their sodium channels that render them immune. A remarkable adaptation comparable to how certain garter snakes have evolved resistance to toxins of rough-skinned newts, or how monarch butterflies become toxic by consuming milkweed, creating a dangerous weapon that has fascinated scientists, terrified predators, and intrigued culinary adventurers for centuries. Culture and human significance. Throughout human history, pufferfish have maintained a unique cultural position balanced between fascination and fear, most notably in Japan, where fugu prep has evolved into an art form requiring chefs to go under years of specialized training before earning a license to serve this potentially deadly delicacy. A tradition that walks a thrilling line between pleasure and peril, unlike any other culinary practice in the world. Beyond gastronomy, these remarkable fish have influenced art and mythology across Pacific cultures, featured prominently in modern marine science where their compact genome has become a valuable model for genetic research, and increasingly attract ecotourists and underground photographers drawn to their distinctive appearance and behaviors, all while facing mounting conservation challenges from habitat destruction, climate change, and overfishing that threaten many species with population decline despite their remarkable defensive adaptations. A sobering reminder that even nature's most well-defended creatures remain vulnerable to humanity's broader impacts on ocean ecosystems.